Well, for years we've been told that breakfast is the most important TV time slot. I mean, meal of the day. Have you been messing with me?
I used to read anything that's in the auto cue.
Okay,
Gotcha.
now it's on.
Well, that all changed in 2019 when intermittent fasting became a hot new trend, along with hitting 10,000 steps a day and doing brain training exercises. But the question is, do they actually work?
Well, there's a lot of scientific research behind these lifestyle fads, and joining us now to break it all down is surgeon and neuroscientist Dr. Jandil in Los Angeles. Good morning to you. Nice to have your company this morning. Breakfast, obviously, is the most important meal of the day and the most important TV of the day. What are your thoughts just on breakfast? Because a lot of people are intermittent fasting now.
Yeah, breakfast is not the most important meal of the day. And it's amazing because we've come up with these phrases, and when you dig deeper, the science just doesn't support it. Intermittent fasting is interesting. There's two thoughts to it. One, if you want to lose weight, just eat less. And so that's dieting. But what I'm talking about is intermittent fasting as a way to have your brain be as sharp as possible. And our brains really are hybrid vehicles. They want ketones and they want glucose. And the way they get ketones is if you don't eat for 16 hours. Of course, you can have black coffee, you can have liquids, but no sugar. And that switching between glucose and ketones is what keeps you sharp. So my way, and what a lot of people are doing, is they have a proper dinner, and in the morning they just have coffee. And then if you get to lunch, that adds up to 16 hours off, letting your body switch into ketone mode.
Why is it the 16 hours is important?
That's a good question. So I love that, because you're getting into the science. The liver only has 16 hours of glucose in its tank.
Right.
So on that 16-hour mark, the liver runs out of glucose and fat is burned into ketones. So that's a great question.
But what about this idea that, you know, you have a big breakfast and then you burn that off during the day and then eat a lot less at night? What you're saying, if you're fasting during the day, if you're having a big dinner, you're going to bed at night with your stomach full.
Yeah, I mean, it's however you want to do it. The math is what matters. 16 hours. Most people find it skipping breakfast is the easiest way. That way they can have a communal setting. You eat with your family. But however you want to structure the 16 hours a couple of times a week, that's where the biology kicks in.
It's so interesting. 10,000 steps a day can seem like a lot, especially if you have a sedentary office job. But what do you think about the 10,000 steps?
Well, when you dig into it, we don't know where that came from. I mean, some people are saying it was a marketing technique.
From Apple.
Yeah, that's funny, yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely, that's funny. But the 10,000 steps, I mean, it's kind of weird. Like, if you do 9,000, that means you're not healthy, and if you do 10,000, you are. What the study really showed was going from not walking, not standing, to taking 2,500 steps or 4,400 steps. That's where you get most of the benefit. What 10,000 steps, which is approximately 5 miles, why that became a magic number is really a marketing, gimmick. What I would say is going from not doing anything to doing something, just standing, just taking the stairs, is where you get the bulk of the benefit.
Yeah. And just quickly, because I found this science really interesting, that shows that we do see new brain cells continue to grow even into our 80s.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, thank goodness. We're going to need it, especially, I mean, on a serious note, with dementia and everything. We want people to know it's not what I was taught in medical school, that you're born with what you have, and if you lose them, you don't get any more. You can grow brain cells. So it's not use it or lose it. A more appropriate phrase would be use it and produce it. So if you're active, you're thinking, you're engaged, your brain will kick in, growing more brain tissue.
We have a lot of plus 50s who watch the show every morning. What are some of the things... I'm almost there. What are some of the things we can be doing to improve our brain's capabilities as we get older?
Yeah, the simple things are walking, because the brain will actually shower itself with growth chemicals. So we talked about that with taking some steps. Number 2 is eating a diet that has basically a Mediterranean concept. Fish, plants, a little bit of red wine. Those things provide the nutrients and the natural sort of supply to the brain. And if you do want to think about brain training, you don't have to spend money. Just engaging your brain at work with people kicks it into that next gear, and living a good life, living an active life, is brain training in itself.
So things like those Sudoku and all that, and crosswords, they all help?
They all help, and you don't have to necessarily buy those things and apps. any engagement, any thought helps, because essentially it is thinking flesh.
So you can teach an old dog new tricks, is what
Oh,
you're saying.
nice.
Well, I don't know how good they'll be at the trick, but they can learn new things. Yeah.
It's fascinating stuff. Doctor, thank you so much for that. I'll start my 16-hour fasting tomorrow morning. I
And then
appreciate
lots of
it.
red wine. I saw your eyes light up when you said
That's
drink
the
red
part
wine.
you heard, right?
You are my kind of doctor.
All Carl took out of that is I don't have to walk that much and I can drink red wine. That's all you heard, isn't it?
Yeah, I did. That's all I heard. Thank you, Doctor. It's terrific stuff. Now, just remember that when we were on tour, Ali, too.
Thank you, and wishing...
Sorry, go on.
And wishing you and you guys the best down there. We're thinking about you a lot, and hopefully the worst is behind you.
Good on
Yeah,
you,
we're
mate.
hoping
Thank you.
exactly the same. Thank you so much for those kind words.